Thanks so much for being here. I know a little bit about you, but can you tell folks who are watching a little bit about your teaching situation?
Yes, I teach at a private school, first grade. We're the only first grade class. Um, we have an average of 26 students in a class. And this is my sixth year teaching.
So what made you decide to join the Reading Simplified Academy?
Yeah, just a strong desire to find more resources of how to help. 23, 26 students is a lot to try to find where they have their greatest need. They're not all the same. And so just trying to find a different way and a better way to teach them how to read and see that progress and have it stick for them is something that was really a desire for me, and I just didn't know where to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very common. I think I hear that probably more than anything else, is that how do I help all these kids with so many different levels? Because just one grade level doesn't really mean that you have just one grade level of readers, does it?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, great. So what were some of the early benefits that you saw, and or how long did it take for you to start to see results? I don't know if you want to talk about the spring or the fall, whatever kind of seems to fit best.
Sure, I'll talk about the fall just because I feel like that's where I really understood more of what I was even doing. I actually really saw, even just the first week that I implemented Switch It and just starting the groups in general, I saw in my lowest group particularly, obviously you're always more in tune to what they're doing. I saw a huge benefit in seeing their letter sound knowledge connection, where before, when I've never used Switch It, I could see, but yet I would also guess if they read a certain word or they didn't understand that sound. That would just be my knowledge of if they knew that sound or not as they read. Right. Where having that Switch It and that isolation of the sounds was really helpful in knowing if you can do the letter sound knowledge of that. And the other benefit was just seeing them too when we did like CCV C words, knowing if they got the first sound or the second sound in between them was huge. Where before, if they're reading a word, I couldn't have just seen that if they're just reading a word. But through Switch It and isolating those sounds, it really was helpful to see that, and I could see that in the first week.
That's neat. So it's a lot, you're talking about a lot of diagnostic or assessment information that you're seeing that you just feel like you had the tools for before that. That's great.
Right. Yeah. I just felt like that really put a lot more together for me to know them better as a reader. That just really made all the pieces come together for me.
That's awesome. And what about the student outcomes? Are you seeing any differences in their reading achievement or their emotional or the motivational aspects?
Thinking of one in particular, yes. From where we started at the beginning of the school year, reading was quite the frustration, especially at home for homework. And they just didn't have any confidence in themselves that they could do anything. So they always just gave up right away. And slowly, and he's probably my most excited child in Switch It and Write It, and the most eager one. So to see that that quick adjustment, I think it was probably by the end of the second week of school, he came back from reading his homework one time in a rereading group, and he just came and he said, I read that whole thing. I said, can you read it to me right now? Just because I didn't want to discourage him. He's like, great, awesome, go back to what you were doing. So I wanted to hear him and have him read that to me and give that extra push. So yes, I've definitely seen how this builds their confidence in many different ways.
That's awesome. How exciting for him, right? Yeah. I mean, this is so pivotal in first grade.
Yes.
So how has the Reading Simplified system saved you time now that you're really more in the groove of it?
It really is nice to be able to, with our phonics program, we do emphasize a lot on our sounds, and it's not always organized with all the O sound spellings or all the E sound spellings. And so I have really combined that into what I do for phonics. So even if my curriculum says we're not supposed to introduce the O sound until later, if I've taught it, I just teach it. And so that has just been kind of something I've grouped. And so in that sense, it has saved me some time with the phonics instruction by making that part of the whole group for sure. So that's been really nice to save time in that. And learning the system itself is just, I'm like, okay, we're working on the O sound this week. This is what we're doing. This is what my plan is for this group. And it's just an easier way to plan for the groups as well for that. Knowing which they're working on.
Right. That's a big relief for me as a tutor because I have kids coming and going, and it's actually my secondary job. So I just like to have the relaxation of knowing, I'm just going here. Step 2, it's not that complicated. All right. That's great. And what are some other positive experiences that you've had this, I guess probably mostly it would be this school year, that are, shaping you or your students? What's the year coming? What's it looking like for you?
It's just showing me how much more progressively and faster they're becoming stronger readers, and they have that stronger foundation. So then when we can add different things or do different things because they know so many different spellings and sounds already that they've tried, and they have so many more opportunities for word connections and text rereading and stuff like that they I've just seen the progress where so it's October. I would usually see this type of progress December, January, not usually right here. So I just am super impressed at their strong foundation that they're developing faster than they were.
That's so exciting. So the only problem now is that you have to do future curriculum that you wouldn't normally have had to do in April or May.
Right.
Oh dear. That's a good problem to have, right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. It's really radical to, reinvent your reading instruction, and you really have done that. And so congrats to you.
Yes.